What a year it has been, and what an anime year especially. The channel reached the goal of 1K I thought was impossible, and we got some absolutely gorgeous shows this year. Anime fans are truly eating good. I mean, sure, the quality of shows coming out has steadily been increasing, and it's not like 2022 was bad either, but 2023 really hit it out the park. We had a massive showing of some of the best established anime series of the decade, from Vinland Saga to Mushoku Tensei, as well as the long-awaited finale of Attack on Titan. But what really took the cake for me was the new shows that came out this year. All that being said though, it can be a daunting task to choose what to watch if you're not in the loop, and the last thing any self-respecting weeb... I could almost say that with a straight face. We don't have self-respect, who am I kidding? The last thing any cultured weeb wants to do is sit down to binge anime for a few days while avoiding showers like the plague, is to choose a bad show to dedicate their life to and make their whole personality for the next few weeks. So I figured I'd extend a helping hand and throw in my 2 cents on what you should watch from this most glorious of anime years. Top 10 of both new and old in no particular order, just think of this as a cheese recommends kind of list. Naturally, if I include a further season or some such, it extends to the whole show as well. Oh yeah, and substats and whatnot. It bad, please sub, but you didn't come here for statistics, so just hit that button and we can be off. It's okay, take your time, I can wait. There we go, now let's hit it. And naturally, I am kicking the list of the best anime of 2023 off with the penultimate season of my favorite anime of all time, Golden Kamuy.
Actually...
Shush, shut up. It's my list, I can do what I want. Okay, yes, I admit, Golden Kamuy may be on this list by technicality alone, but being technically correct is the best kind of correct. Besides, in my clearly non-biased opinion, what is there not to love? Adventure, high stakes, and good food shared with the best of friends. That can go from playing sumo together to skinning each other alive if the circumstances call for it. You know, just like friends do. I'm not going to go that much further into detail since Golden Kamuy is due a new review video soon-ish, so if you want more info on it, wait a bit and I shall provide. But if historical action adventure seinen is your thing, then Golden Kamuy is by no means your only option, because the Naruto running, people stabbing edgy Viking teen is back, and this time he's again storming the fort by being a depressed slave working on a farm who has lost all will to live. What? That is right, the long-awaited second season of the historical Viking epic that is Vinland Saga arrived earlier this year, just to put off most of the show's anime-only fanbase by being totally different from the action-packed first showing that took the anime world by storm back in 2019. The 2 seasons are like night and day, but at the same time, the anime has lost none of its luster, and weirdly, the brutality has gotten even worse. It's just presented from the standpoint of Thorfinn, who has now gone from being Viking Sasuke to becoming more grown up and figuring out that chopping people to bits in someone else's war is, generally speaking, kind of grim. Farming Sim 10th Century Edition is a look inwards and of growth as a person, and if you're not put off by emotional burden and the slice-of-life-esque elements amidst the blood and guts, then it's the right show for you, and not only that, this is just the prologue of what is to come. That not upholding the unorthodox approach of Vinland Saga's second season was by no means the only surprise this year. Since Spectre got its second season and managed to go from an interesting take on the yokai story genre into something absolutely stunning. Don't get me wrong, the show still has a very different approach to the supernatural than what you might have come to expect from anime. After all, Jujutsu Kaisen and Demon Slayer are pretty big on just punching your way through the traditionally more subtle challenges of Japanese demons, and Yujit's Fist and Tanjiro's Sword being the poster boys of what equates to a modern-day yokai story, you might be surprised when a little-known anime like Spectre pays homage to the traditions, where dealing with the beings of legend is calling for more brain over brawn. But it is definitely worth the watch, and sure, you might not be hooked by the first season alone, but it has similar feels with gems like Natsume's Book of Friends and Mushishi, and on those notes alone, it's well worth your time, if action isn't the only thing you're looking for in an anime. Naturally, no list of the best anime of 2023 would be complete without Oshi No Ko, the deep dive into the dark underbelly of the entertainment industry that rocked the foundations of the anime community as it toppled Fullmetal Alchemist from the throne of the highest rated anime of all time on my anime list with just its first episode. If you've ever wondered what the entertainment industry in Japan is like, well, this is it. It's a wild ride that will sweep you into the dark world of the industry that on the outside might look like a happy-go-lucky place dedicated for the production of art and fun, but in reality it's bitter competition and awful people, from cancel culture to acting to the harsh world of idols. This show has it all, at least if it has something to do with entertainment. It's also one of those anime that you absolutely should go in blind. Trust me, don't read the synopsis or anything, just experience it. It'll be worth it. Now, I say Oshi No Ko was one of the best shows of the year, but it faced some stiff competition for that title, a lot of which it even shared a season with, since the spring of 2023 was absolutely stacked. Honestly, if it weren't for the autumn anime season of this year, spring alone might have had the vast majority of shows on this list. Aside from Oshi No Ko, spring brought us the one anime that has truly managed to keep me guessing as to what the hell is actually going on, all the way to the very end. Heavenly Delusions. It managed to revitalize the somewhat stagnant genre of post-apocalyptic stories set in the dregs of society with great characters and some of the best subtle world-building I have ever seen. In a passing moment, it is mentioned how when society collapsed, most people didn't die in nuclear fire or get mauled to death by hordes of zombies. No, they simply starved. It's such a sobering thought that instantly grounds the setting, and then it's free to build up the fantastical over the mundane. And holy shit is there a lot of that fantastical. From playing 5D chess on secrets and mysteries, all the way to the grotesque eldritch horrors, known as man-eaters devouring anyone unfortunate enough to encounter them, and not be in possession of the laser gun of doom, known as the Kirubeam. It's silly, light-hearted fun, until shit hits the fan, lacing everything with the unknown, to a point where Heavenly Delusions manages to be a true mystery in the best kind of ways. But enough of these new releases, since there were some very long-awaited returnees this year as well, not least of which was the already aforementioned Jujutsu Kaisen with the Shibuya arc in its second season. A season which definitely did not disappoint, the manga readers having sang the praises of the Shibuya incident arc for years, and for a damn good reason. Now that we anime viewers got to experience it in all of its glory, Jujutsu Kaisen truly solidified its position as one of the best shonen of the decade. It's high-octane grimdark action all the way, and even if I'm not a huge fan of impact frame heavy fights in anime, I do have to admit that the second season looks amazing. Even if Mappa's methods leading to the production of such masterclass in animation porn are questionable at best. And hey, if you want supernatural and the brain over brawn approach of Spectre didn't pull you in, then Jujutsu Kaisen offers the opposite here, as the simple yet effective ability to punch really hard more often than not solves almost any problem you might have. It's pure hype laced with the bitterness of comrades lost, managing to create something truly amazing. But JJK is by no means the only long-awaited show to come out with a bang this year, and what a bang it was. Mushoku Tensei once again coming in to absolutely wipe the floor with any competing isekai by being the granddaddy of the genre and dominating as only it can. I mean, what other show can go from fighting gods to curing erectile dysfunction while not losing any of its grips on the audience? Truly the best you can hope from isekai. Not that the seasonal average in the genre would be putting up any real opposition, but still. If anything, it's all the more stunning how a show in such an uninspiring genre can reach the heights that Mushoku Tensei has. That and my video on it really made the channel this year, so there is that as well. But there was one show in this anime year of 2023 that is bound to get a position on any list talking about the best anime to come out in, well, the past 20 years or so. And that is of course none other than Attack on Titan. Objectively speaking, one of, if not the best anime made in the last few decades. An era-defining piece of anime art that will for years to come define what is truly great anime, and a show that I don't actually like all that much. That being said, it would be disingenuous of me not to include what is truly a masterpiece, regardless of my own feelings towards it. It's an end of an era and it just needs to be mentioned. Attack on Titan is pure cinema and an absolute masterclass in storytelling and world building. I may not be the biggest fan, but I can still recognize art when I see it, and this is it. Attack on Titan is art. But I did mention that for me it was the new shows this year that truly made it an amazing anime year, and while I've already mentioned a few and even talked about how the spring season had some incredible shows, it was the autumn that brought the two anime that to me are the best this year had to offer, with the possible exception of Golden Kamuy, but that opinion is biased, so let us ignore it for the time being. The first anime, and the one I thought might take the cake for the best of 2023, was Pure Emotion. Frieren Beyond the Journey's End, redefining the concept of epilogues and showing us that a fantasy epic does not need world-ending catastrophe or demon lords to rise above its brethren, as all it needs is time. Told from the perspective of one immortal, time and its passage defines everything in Frieren as the timeless elf looks inside and begins to realize what truly matters to her in life. It's a story of growth as a person by one who was seemingly already complete. Frieren is a deeply melancholic story, but not in a depressive way. It's beautiful and beautifully sad tale of companions separated by eons and bound to be torn apart by the slow, inevitable passage of time. As one untouched by its ravages, Frieren herself learns to appreciate the fleeting beauty of the moment. The show is simply gorgeous, and I can only describe it as an experience that just hits different. But as much as I adore Frieren, the one anime that, for me at least, rose to the highest of podiums and became the first among equals, and took this historic year was Apothecary Diaries. It was in fact so good that it was the first show since Dororo in 2019 to make it to my top 10 anime of all time list, and while I may not have yet reviewed it, rest assured that video is coming. Set in the rear palace of the Forbidden City in the Imperial Age of China, Apothecary Diaries has everything I look for in an anime, to be honest, and some things I never even knew I needed in my life. It's laced with fascinating history, assassination plots, political intrigue, and raunchy humor. The show takes the concept of history was a truly awful time to be alive, and runs with it all the way to the bitter end. It may not be the most unique of stories, or come with the biggest plot twists, but sometimes an engrossing historical, well, slice of life really, just doesn't need it. And while I want to save the true deep dive into this masterpiece for its own standalone video, since it truly deserves it, I will say that if your tastes are anything like mine, I can nigh on guarantee that you will absolutely fall in love with Apothecary Diaries. It may not have that big hit item to immediately reel you in like Frieren does with its feels, but give it a moment and all of a sudden you will find yourself fully engrossed in the dealings of the Imperial concubines and one lowly serving girl hell-bent on not drawing attention to herself. And that concludes the list. Thank you for watching, and most importantly, thank you for this amazing year, and here's for an even better 2024. I would however like to hear your top 10 picks in the comments below. Do you agree with me, or was there something you would have put on this list over what I picked? It was a tough choice given the amazing quantity and quality this year had. And yeah, like this if you liked it, dislike if you didn't, subscribe for more anime goodness and check the links in the description if you want to engage with me outside of YouTube, you know, Twitter, Twitch and the like. With this, I have been Cheese, and I'll see you next time. Ta-ta for now.